Hello, and welcome to the Bianca Williams Podcast. I am your host, Bianca. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, please stay for a while, subscribe, comment, share your feedback, like this, share with others. Because one thing about this show is we're sharing self-growth tips. We're also sharing others' journeys, their wisdom. I have some amazing guests, and today you guys are in for a treat because this is a very talented, very creative guest that I have here. His name is Matthew Jones. He's going to get into some wonderful things that I love to talk about, and naturally it's his thing. This is what he does. And so, yes. Matthew is a father, a husband. He is a musician. He actually creates brands. He does so many different things, but there's so much going on. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about what is coming up, what you have going on? Share it with us.
Well, first, Bianca, thank you for having me. This will actually be, I've had an interview before, but this is like one of my first visual like podcast interviews. I've had like an Instagram interview before or like a live, but this is going to be recorded and you can, so you are actually officially the first.
Yay!
So that's dope. That's dope. But so yeah, I got a lot going on. She mentioned the music. I've been playing saxophone for a long time now, over half my life now. I was in a band with Bianca at the Tennessee State University in the aristocratic band. Excuse me, Grammy-winning aristocratic band. Don't play with it.
Don't forget it.
So that's how we met. But we were both from Detroit, and so I've been playing the horn since then, beyond, and my music career. And life is starting to do something, and I think that really just comes from me, I guess, deciding to put a certain amount of time into it over like the past 6 years, maybe 7 years.
Yeah.
Mainly like into my horn. But that's going excellent right now. Drake's going in the clouds. We are a very hot up-and-coming band in Detroit and in the Midwest now. We won a song contest through Sony called the Masterpiece
Congratulations.
Song Competition. We won $25,000 with that. That's now streaming on Tubi as of like last week. So you can check that whole thing. The whole competition is on there. It's like crazy. So we're on there, and then we're doing all the festivals around the city, and we're about to drop some music and albums and stuff. So, huge music stuff with the band. I'm also doing some solo stuff. I'm a producer as well, so I'm doing like some fusion, R&B, techno dance. I like dance. That's like, so my music's gonna make you move most of the time, or it's gonna be groovy. So put some solo stuff out too. So that's mainly all the music side stuff. Also a vintner. I am a winemaker. I've been making wine north of 10 years now. Officially, well, actually, I would say public facing, like the brand was brought to the public probably around, I guess it's been 8 years now. That was 2016. We took a bottle of wine to Regina Gaines, House of Pure Finn, downtown Detroit. Only Black-owned wine shop downtown Detroit at the moment.
Yes.
Took our wine to Regina. She was like, "Oh, this is good." We were like, "Okay," because all the wine before was not the best, but
wine ain't made
and yep. And then she, gave us some pointers and some rebrand new pointers, and now here we are, Drew Ryan Wines. You can find us at drewryanwines.com, and we just attained our state wine license in the month of July, and we have some wine in stores, but we're about to do our first official production as a winery on Pingree Farm starting this fall. So next year is going to be huge with that too. So I can get a little more to that, but I just want to give a little overview. And I am now a financial advisor with Northwestern Mutual. So I got my 3 baskets that I can really pour into and develop my life now.
Wow. Well, congratulations on everything that you have going on. Like I said, you're super talented. Actually, I think this is such a unique time for us to be recording this episode because this is the time where you're normally training us 20 years back, right? When we were out in the field and doing our thing, you were training, you were leading our group. You were such a great leader. You were a great model of being a student, being a leader, being a musician. And you kicked it in college, so you actually enjoyed those years. You seem like you had a good time, and so I think this is so symbolic to be in this place 20 years later and having this conversation. And we're going to be talking about music and how it connects to communication and emotions. We're going to be talking about investing in yourself, which I feel like again, symbolic of how we met and that time. And so this is so amazing, and you continue to be a person who evolves, who creates, who just inspires. And so I
trying to
just feel like you
continue to
sums
grow.
up.
That's my thing. You should always be climbing, always ascending. That's like, there's, I don't, it can be a
Absolutely.
gift and a curse, but
That's life. You do not stop. You do not hit a finish line. It's always okay. I reach a goal
true.
and then I set a new goal and I keep going. But you have a very interesting story. You have an amazing background. So I want to ask if you would not mind sharing a little bit about your background, how you got interested in using music to communicate.
To communicate. I like that. So background wise, born and raised in Detroit. I started at Michigan Institute private school, and then went to Bates Academy. I didn't realize the significance of these two schools until probably the last couple of years, like recently. But those being schools ran by Black people for like gifted kids.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that until a couple years ago. Actually, recently, Bates Academy, I didn't know Bates Academy was really called Detroit School for Gifted and Talented. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
So my history has kind of been based off achievement, and it all really stems to kindergarten when I had to recite this poem called the Golden Legacy Creed, and the basis of it was treat people how you want to be treated, do unto others how you want to done to yourself. So by me having to learn this speech for my kindergarten graduation, it programmed me to be that, to be the give myself to people how I want them to get back to me. And this is me like looking at my life now, looking back at that moment, and my mom sat days and days and days as a kindergarten 5-year-old, helped me memorize this for our kindergarten graduation. So this was like a long page for a kindergarten, a 5-year-old to recite. So these are things that I'm just putting together now in life, like, yo, that's crazy. So starting from there, going through their Bates Academy where I picked up the horn in like 4th grade when I was like 10. That kind of like started my musical journey, like officially. Unofficially, my dad is a music lover to death. My mom is too, but my dad really shaped my music career, just like how he just made us dance. We just danced a lot when we were younger, and I do the same thing with my girls now because I know like that rhythm thing, the rhythm, how it bounces off the world is so important. So left base, we moved to Southfield. My dad wanted to get me out the hood. Get us out the hood. I can only say it one way. He knew that we were getting. He knew we were getting to the age where our environment is going to be very impressionable on us, and he wanted it to be a certain way. So I don't knock him for that. Anybody who hate on that, you can fill in the blank what you want to do there. But my dad did it the right way. My dad, born and raised in Detroit, Southwest Detroit, then moved to the west side of Detroit. Grinded his way. Used to work at the bridge as a toll taker. Came up on what is an air traffic controller. He was like, I don't know, but I'm gonna try it. And now he's like one of the best air traffic controllers like in the Midwest, hands down. People know about him. He's like a legend. Like, and he like instilled these type of values into us naturally. This is, from the middle of the city, did it bootstrapping, had great representation from his family, whatever or not, and somehow ended up down south to be my mom brought her up here. And they were like complete opposites, but it just met, it just worked. And he knew that we had to do things a certain way because he wanted his kids to be a certain way. So Southfield and Thompson Middle School, Southfield High is when my music journey truly started, like as far, I would say professionally, because Benjamin McKnight, he was a grad of FAMU, how he shaped that band and shaped me as an individual. I was a drum major for him for 2 years. So I was with him toward the end of his career at Southfield. He ended his career at Southfield my senior year. And he taught us a lot. And I was doing like corporate jazz gigs with him and Simone Ward before we graduated. you know, going to places and playing, gigging. That was when I started gigging, you know, and I was not good back then. I was not as good
I
as the
don't
people I came
believe
up
you.
with. I was not like, you know, I think about Reggie Page. He's a band director in Detroit right now. He's great alto saxophonist, period. You know, I love Reggie. He's the man. He's actually came in second place on that masterpiece competition. That show y'all gonna watch on Tubi. So he's in second place. We won first, they won second. So legend. Reggie, and then Tia Watson. Like those Tia Watson, she went to FAMU. God rest her soul, she passed a couple years ago. Those people completely just embodied the saxophone at an early age. And I was like, yo, I'm not like that yet, but I want to be like that. So coming up under them and watching them and listening to them, I think really, really shaped me, which made me better. So coming up under Southfield, then was blessed to get a scholarship to Tennessee State University.
Yeah.
That's when a big class of us came from Southfield, and it was great. I think you came the year after that, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just being in a program that was on the climb, was on the ascending, you know, because I think once we got there, like where we see Tennessee State now had a lot to do with those years we were there. Being like just how the style started to change and the people that allowed us to do things like that. You know, I was on a dance committee. Hey, let's do different dances from what we used to do. Like, and that's just being real. Like the drum majors, we were doing new stuff that they weren't doing before.
Yep.
I'm not gonna say, but
shout out. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just you know, and they got a whole new style now. But we and you know they allow us to change that. You know, and Larry Jenkins.
Oh my gosh, yes, Larry.
That warms my heart.
He is like a staple.
No idea. I love it. I love it. I love it. That just so being in that Tennessee State really shaped actually it just really shaped my mental more than anything. Because unfortunately I didn't take that opportunity to develop my musicianship as I should have. I see that now. I understand that now, being a kid. But like you said, I keep it in college.
But
I was also involved in a lot of college
like
too.
You were not, slacking or anything. You were into so many different things and very good at it. So that's kind of how I look at you back then. Was you were in the square, you had fun, but you were responsible, you were consistent, like you showed up.
Thank you to hear that from somebody else. And then man, because we started the first dance group on Tennessee State's campus. That was the final phase. Rest in peace, Buck. I love that brother.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That started at the end of my freshman year. It started from a beef. It was Watson versus Boyd. That's how it really started, because that was always a thing. Because when they used to was the homecoming. It used to be like a homecoming talent show or something like that. They used to do that every year. And it started from me doing too much. Probably shouldn't have been doing it. I probably wasn't, but I was dancing at the same time too as being a freshman in the band. And as a crap or a freshman, it's called crap. I know they don't do that anymore. Man, but you was doing a lot. You kind of doing a lot. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, I'm about to do this. So it was different. The dorms all had competition, and I think we might have won. I don't know, but it was a little beef between it. But then after that, we started to dance more together. Memphis was Memphis, Atlanta, Detroit. Yeah. And then it really turned into Detroit and Memphis, because me and Buck just synced on a whole nother level. And that's where Final Phase was born, because me and him started dancing together. He taught me how to do Memphis dancing. I taught him how to do Detroit. Jitting and stuff like that. Yeah. And our styles just grew. We about to make this a dance group. And from there we expanded. We were traveling to different cities and dancing. We danced at this Bible college, and it was they had never seen nothing like that. And they were dancing how we danced. Yeah. Wow. Doing that, and eventually joining some fraternities. 04 joined Alpha Phi Omega National Service. National Service Fraternity Incorporated Psychotic Sci-Fi Chapter. That was huge. Just because community service has always been a part of my path. I did a lot of community service in college. High school, because I was in I wasn't, was it not National Honor Society? It was another one they had, but I wasn't in HS. I wasn't smart enough. I was smart, but I wasn't smart because I was always doing something. If I would
feel
have,
like your smart is different though, because we have what we call book smart. You know, you just do the work, take the test, get the A's, and then you have the really, really like life smart people, the really creative out of the box thinkers, and to me that kind of skill goes very far because you are able to adapt and evolve naturally. So don't be selling
yeah,
yourself smart. You super smart.
I think, I guess so. But you know what? I guess there's an imposter syndrome thing that I try to get over sometimes
Mhm.
that I was told I have, and I've kind of been shedding that more. But I just never looked at it from the intelligence side because I just see people who are just doing this. Like, oh, you are just. I'm not really there, but then I guess I could be in another realm.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Trust me, yeah.
rounding out college, service fraternity, and then my last year at school, 2006, joined Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Alpha Theta Chapter. And that year as well, became a drum major. I was like, I learned because I mean, I just if I knew it was possible, I was gonna try and get it. That's how I went and got. I went and got it. I ain't gonna hold you up.
And you did.
It was like, how you become drum major? Oh, you kind of get picked. I'm like, what? I'm used to trying out. I'm used to like working like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, so that means I have to do something else to get the position. So I think I either wrote a letter to Progress or I definitely called them. Like, I think I called them that spring, like probably right after we crossed. I crossed on the 24th. I probably called them shortly after that before school let out. And was like, hey, I've been your section leader for 3 years. You ain't had no problems over there in that saxophone section. We be kicking ass. Oh, I can't curse.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we did.
And yeah, we was
Hold it
tight.
down for sure.
We was tight. They wasn't saying nothing to us.
Right.
They didn't say nothing to us.
We had a really talented group.
Yes. Like when you really think about that group, yo, we was tight.
Yes.
We was tight. Maya, Tim, Richard, Thomas, you, Roger.
Yes.
Aaron was tight. Adam Taylor. Yeah. All these people were like good players. It wasn't like just like, hey man, can you come on, Steven?
Yes.
Like
James.
all these people play. It wasn't just like, no, well, how'd you get here? I really can't remember. And it was a lot, so I can't remember. I know. We're not leaving nobody out. We promise. David. It is just so many people. Yes. Yeah. So Tristan was good. I got a story about Tristan, but I could talk about anyway. So I was like, hey, I did all this, man. Like, I think you should consider me being drum major this fall. He's like, oh, okay. And I got the letter in the mail. Like, ran around the house 3 times. That was awesome. So that went to the senior year, and that was just great. That was my highest GPA. Yeah. Out of all my years at Tennessee State. Like, and I just wish I would have studied better. Like, I wish I would have studied like that all the time. And just as you go through life, you just know better. So graduated, came home, tried to get a master's in counseling or whatever. It didn't work because the guy at Wayne State was acting weird. I don't know. So I just kind of gigged a little bit. I had 3 jobs at the same time. I was a manager. Well, I was like a swim instructor. I was teaching chess, and I was a substitute teacher in Southfield Public Schools. Long-term there, became a program director at the Chess Wizards. Started the first international chapter in Toronto for them. Eventually, I went back to Goldfish as a manager, redid their curriculum, I started their video curriculum that they still use now. Redid their training before I left, and then started making wine along the way. Now I got a wine brand in the city, and we will be opening a tasting room next year. Wow. With Chateau Chantel. That's so dope. Because I don't know how long it's going to be. I just wanted to and that's where we are right now. I'm investing more time into myself as I work for myself now all the way. And that's new, it's a new territory, but I believe that my hustle is good enough to lock it in. So I'm really excited about everything that's going on. It is different because I don't really deal in stress.
Yeah. Okay.
If I can, because you can only control what you can control.
Yeah.
So you cannot worry about things you can't control. And a lot of things that we stress over, we can't control it. So you need to focus on what you can control. And I know what I can control right now is that I'm in a new position where I can make my own schedule and I can make an abundant future for me and my family. So it's on me. I have control over that. So that's why I'm not stressed about doing something for the first time that's like commission only.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of eggs in the basket. So I'm not really
a lot of eggs, yes. And you put
I got
them
a
in
lot of
different
eggs, so
baskets.
something they're hatching.
Well, Matthew, you actually said you said like a couple of really good things that I do not want to let slip past us, because you kind of touched on your ambitions, your natural optimism, your just leveling up and just continuing to keep going. And some of the, I guess, one thing I want to share with the audience is something that you said. You said some of the values that you carry even today, these were things that were just drilled into you when you were a young child. A lot of people don't know some of their defaults are from many years ago, from just things messages you received, ways you responded to situations as an adult, right? Sometimes we don't even recognize that connection, but when you said, that just kind of, you didn't even understand what they were doing, but that shaped something in you. And later it just clicked like, oh my gosh, I am still doing this. And that is still like ringing in my head. And that's amazing. Even how you describe how your dad invested in you and in your siblings. And this is, I believe this, you don't choose your circumstances that you're born into. You don't choose your environments, none of that stuff. But when you get an opportunity, being able to give to the next generation, being able to honor the previous generations, your dad choosing to move you out of an unsafe neighborhood into a safe neighborhood actually like allows you to have more opportunities, kind of have this, I want to say like crossroads at some point in your life where you had just danger and other influences kind of pulling you in different directions. Like he just removed that for you, so you didn't even have to worry about that, which allows you to go into college and continue to grow with just more of an open and clear heart. And I remember meeting you and just thinking, oh my gosh, all of this energy, all of this thing, all of this, talent. And so I love that, because coming from Michigan, I came from the inner cities in the hood. And I feel like in college, for me, it was a lot of growth happening at that time. For you, you were like, the world is, my oyster. It's just blossoming. So I love what you said. You said, if in my mind I saw it possible, did it. And one thing I also want to make sure I don't forget, this is the last thing. You said you didn't, now I want people to hear this, because people sometimes think opportunities pass them by and they don't realize how much influence they have on things that they are interested in. You said, I wanted to be a drum major, so I wrote our head band director a letter expressing my interest. You didn't say, I just wanted to be drum major. I went to sleep and prayed and waited and hoped that he picked me and understood. Like you had initiated that desire and let them know, hey, by the way, I'm interested. Hey, by the way,
It was a letter. It might have been a phone call, or I might have even went to his office. It might have been one of those. I can't remember. That was a long time ago, y'all. I'm sorry. I just can't remember.
Yeah.
But
the point is, you
made
took
it
that
past.
step.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm interested. I'm not going to, at least I want them to know. And you were okay with, if I don't get it, that's okay. But at least I'm going to let them know. Because sometimes people don't want to know, so they don't even take the chance. You were like, no, I want to take the chance. I want them to know I'm interested. And lo and behold, look at you.
Yo, man.
The rest was history.
Crazy. That's like the best year ever. It was definitely the best year ever. And we sounded great. The band was amazing. That was
absolutely.
Chef's kiss,
realized how many saxophones in our time was drum majors. Like y'all used to keep us in the loop.
It changed from brass to like woodwind. And kind of like a more brass woodwind, because it was a lot more brass usually.
Yeah, that's very true. When we came in, it was all brass. Yep, it was like trumpets, trombones.
Frank, yep. Trombones was
Yep.
And then I think it was Maya. No,
Yep. We
Lamarcus
had
and Phil.
Maya. We had
Lamarcus.
Tim. You.
Lamarcus broke it.
Lamarcus.
Lamarcus was.
Yeah. Forgot
Yeah,
all
he
the,
broke.
oh my
Yeah,
God. He was there. Yep.
yeah. He
Okay, so
broke the
we always
trend.
had saxophone drum major when I was that makes so much
Yeah,
sense. You use music
yeah.
though very creatively. Like you don't limit it. You say I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna dance to it, I'm gonna listen to it, all of the above. And
Mm-hmm.
you actually see music as a form of communication. Can you
Mm-hmm.
share just what your philosophy is or what your thoughts are on music communicating to emotions and ideas universally?
Okay, I hope you're ready for this.
I am holding no.
All right, so I have a philosophy that mixes with like frequency and the patterns of life that we should be tuning into, but you don't notice it unless you experience it or it was delivered to you somehow or something like that. Knowing that music is the universal language, I took that further. I've researched frequencies of music deep into the history of like the foundation of the tones, why we use the tones we use, what are the scales we're using right now, and why they're not the same. The scales they used back in the day during Gregorian time, something you might want to listen to or look into.
Okay.
Solfeggio tones. So I went to a deep dive on that, maybe 7 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that, and it helped me find this philosophy of. Okay, so it's two sides to this. So first, let me answer your question directly before I whatever. The repetition of what we intake is how we learn and is how the patterns are formed in our brains. That is it. There's nothing else to it. People look way too deep into like the learning process. No, we're just computers and we're being programmed. That's simple. And the programming method is
so important.
Is repetition. That's all it is. It's nothing else. It's no further than that. Whether you're reading it over and over again, whether you're hearing it over and over again, whether you're doing it over and over again, that's how you program it.
Okay.
It's just that simple.
That makes so much sense.
So I don't care what people say. It's gonna be my philosophy. You listen to that BS music all the time, you're gonna become BS. The frequencies that you're taking in over and over again, they're not exposing you to anything other than that type of frequency. So you're going to think about those things more often. You're going to want to aspire to think in that realm more often. You're going to look at those images more often because you're listening to it. Oh, let me look what this person is doing. Let me look at, and we know that that's all programming too. A lot of that is a facade that they put on to sell records. That's just what the reality is. People still haven't gotten that. We're starting to wake up.
Wow.
Thank God. Thank you, Kendrick. Kendrick was a part of that.
So
you on the West Coast too. I know they're going nuts out there.
You know what?
So the programming of what our music has been since like the early 90s, when it actually changed from gangster rap into trap rap, which is so different because people were worried about it was going to teach people how to be gangsters, but they turned into that. It was telling a story. Those people were telling their experiences. That wasn't no suburban kid with money that can afford studio time who's perpetuating the style across the major, the poverty line of the city or whatever, perpetuating that and wanting to be that. It's not the same. Right. When people are telling their story, and then you have people who are perpetuating it and faking it, and now we've changed the whole meaning of it all. And it has been changed purposefully, I think. But luckily, the right frequencies are starting to prevail again, and music is changing finally. So, but it comes down to the message is spread through repetition, and you can see in the decades how the music's changed, starting from the 60s, the 70s, into the 80s and 90s. It's a huge change when you look at even like 80s and 90s, how like the music was a representation of what was going on. And then now where it is, it's kind of stuck in this block of just because like the live music and stuff that we appreciate, or the innuendos, the not as blatant, that's what it's all like in your face now and blatant, you know what I'm saying? So this is my opinion. So And we've been stuck in that since like Lil Jon and them. They allow that. I mean, it's just what it is. It's just a natural occurrence. It's okay. We had the best dance club years when we were in college. We had the best. It was the best.
Yeah.
People were still dancing everywhere. People were still dancing. There wasn't like getting a booth was not even a question. I'm trying to go on a dance floor and dance with somebody. That's what we had.
Right.
And then it slowly changed into like the booth thing, you know, booth and bottle service. And that's perpetuating what type of frequency they're really perpetuating. The basis of money, the basis of, okay, you have to have a certain amount of money to do this. So how you get that money? And if you can't get it the right way, what type of way you're going to get it? So all that factors into that because people want that because that's what's being perpetuated. You know, all the drinking songs came out around that time, Another Bottle and this and that, you know, hey girl, all that. That whole time, so it's transferring into now is based off of really just like drug intake.
Yeah.
And very, I would say, abrasive sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
The innuendos are gone. It's all more in your face. Definitely. You know, like the whole peel thing. Like if you listen to the music that they listen, like the young generation, I can talk about that now. And I don't care. Like I'm older and I'm proud of it because I was raised on good music and they're not being raised on good music. So whatever, it's trash. There's no creativity in it. There's no soul in it. You're not putting anything. You're not trying to try to do anything with it. You just use it as a vessel to try to get money. And it's not really for that. So all those type of tensions you can hear in the music. And but there have been things happening over the last couple of years with live music, like the Bruno Mars, even the dance aspect that even Drake and Beyonce put into the music. Those things bring people out of that. Like, let's dance again. You know what I'm saying? Let's see some live music. Let's see some instruments again. You know what I'm saying? Those things sprinkle it, and then it slowly bleeds into the psyche of it, and then we're starting to see a lot more but like soft R&B, a little more tasteful R&B. We got some R&B people coming out now. Orlando, what is his name? Can't remember his name. Oh my god, I always mess his name up.
I don't know.
But he sounds like Marvin Gaye, and people are in love with him right now. Yeah. Then you have like Leon Bridges, and you got Alabama Shakes. Like bands are coming back around, you know. So the frequency is changing again. But I haven't been. I've been wanting to talk about these type of things. Yeah, I want to talk about these type of things because it's so important because people don't really look at music like that. But you know, people, you're in the car, you're listening to music. You got everybody got headphones now. You know what I'm saying? And then so you're listening to music even more than we were before headphones weren't as popular. You know. Yeah. And you're in the car. You're in rush hour. You're listening to music. You know what I'm saying? So what you take in is what's going to program you. So I don't care what people say. There's some type of programming there and how it affects us when you're listening to a type of music over and over again. Like I listen to jazz, so I want to get better. I'm not a jazz musician. Like I think I suck in jazz, and over the next 5 years, it's my goal to be a better jazz musician. Like I think I'm really good with R&B and funk and soul, stuff like that. But I need to do jazz now. Like hey Richard Shaw, help me out.
Yeah. Okay, get up, Richard.
That is the real answer. I have a whole nother philosophy.
I think that's huge how you made that connection. When people think about the generational shifts and the influences, sometimes there's a lot of discussion around things like, you know, just social media or the things you see on TV. But you're essentially saying like music plays a huge part in that because like we said, we grow and we behave based on repetition, what's instilled in us over and over again, what we're listening to, the messages, even subconsciously. So this is, I'm not an expert on this, what I'm about to say, but I'm going to mention this loosely just because I've been taught this a little bit. What a lot of people may not recognize about things like hypnosis and those kind of axes that they really, really focus in your subconscious, right between your aware conscious and your completely unconscious. So you're not all the way, you know what I mean, in tune with what you're taking in, but it actually penetrates deeper in some of your memories and some of your functioning. And so hearing you explain that actually makes so much sense, and how it influences, you know, how you think, what what kind of becomes normal for you, or starts to become a part of your ideology and your behavior. So
all of it.
wow.
So important. So important.
Yeah. And you even like take that a step further and explain that in the sense of how it affects our memories. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Because music not only shifts our just outlook and our ideas and our emotions, but also our memories.
So like there's several songs I can pull up right now, pull a direct memory to it right now because one, I think there is something to say about like good music, like and how it affects us.
Yeah.
Like you can there's certain songs that when you listen to it, it hypnotizes you or it radiates within your personal frequency so much that you attach to it. So like another same. All right. What's that?
Mm. Oh, we were jamming.
Anyway, so that song is one that sticks with me forever. I can remember listening to that on a jukebox at my aunt's and uncle's basement. Growing up, having parties outside at the house with I spent a lot of time over there. And they just
Okay.
had a jukebox that played all this good music, like all the best music, like remembering like Michael Jackson, like Mama
Mm-hmm.
say, Mama say, Mama say, like saying that, and we had a
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and they, I don't know if you know, but like I know now they have like dementia and Alzheimer's research
Mm-hmm.
where they're playing music from those times or songs that they specifically like, and that's open up the brain
Wow.
more. And then also,
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard they talking about that actually I think it's Alzheimer's or dementia. One of those is like diabetes for the brain, so they
Mm-hmm.
might be able to cure that. So that's cool. I just want to put it out there.
Oh my
Hear about that. I'm
God.
about to read about that. Yeah, look it up. Good stuff to look up. I love all that. Like I'm more of a physicist and chemist now than I've ever been, and I dropped out of chemistry in high
Me
school.
too.
AP chemistry couldn't do it. Like, nope, I'm out of here. And I
Yeah.
completely got like D's in like chemistry in college, the only chemistry classes. That's why I was the
Mm.
OBGYN like I wanted to be. So
Yeah, yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, oh my gosh. Music is so powerful. You're right. There's parts of our brain that just store experiences based on certain activated triggers. And yeah, music definitely does that. Like as soon as you started humming, even the Michael Jackson song, was like, I don't know, I shifted to some place in my mind for a second and I was just like there and just in the music, and it's so instant how that happens.
it is.
And people use like music to like set moves, to respond to certain moves. It definitely plays a role in stronger emotions. Like, so how do you feel like certain songs, really activate strong emotions for us?
So that song was "You're the One for Me." I had to
Oh,
get that. You're the one.
yeah.
Yep, that's the name of that song. Sorry, just had to
Yes.
read. I cannot. I couldn't let that
That's
go
a
by.
y'all
So you said like how it evokes like emotions.
strong emotions, because like some of our bigger
Mm,
emotions, ooh, sadness, extreme
yeah, it
joy, all
usually
of that stuff be connected to emotions. You hear
it is.
graduation music, you like, we celebrating, right? Like,
Yeah, yep. So again, I think there's something about us and music like biologically. I think that there's a biological connection to music with us. I don't know. I think it might have something to do with like the instinct and the dance, because I think that humans, their dance is the mating call, and that has to be done towards something. So whether it be some type of rhythm or music, so I think that's kind of like where that correlation could be with music and
yeah.
emotion. It kind of makes sense to me in a way. So like, especially like sadness, I think like, let's see, emotions can be expressed, so that, which I think is why we can attach to it. That's why we can just pick up a song. I can name like another song right now, like "Cheers to You" by I can't remember the group.
Yeah.
Something like yeah. So although a good song, kind of makes me feel good, but makes me bitter because the girl I used to sing that to cheated on me.
Oh, so there's a memory attached to that song. Yeah.
So
You like, hold on.
that's wow. You know what I'm saying? But I love the song, but then it's like, it's cool though. We still cool though.
Yeah.
But yeah, because we can express emotions through song. We can attach, like if we feeling bad, some of us have songs we go right to. Then if we're mad, a lot of women are mad. A lot of them go right to Jasmine Sullivan. You know what I'm saying?
You and my husband gotta stop this. He every time I turn on the Jasmine, he like, is that man hate woman? I'm like, she sings love songs too.
Yes, she do. One of my favorite songs of all time. I need to redo that.
Yes, I love that song.
I used to cover it. I need to bring it back. I love it.
That song got a groove.
And I had this, yeah. So, and like the emotions of the song, they stick with me too. I had this weird thing where I could know a song and I can play it with never playing it before.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, you sat next to me in the bedroom a couple of times, and I would look at the music one time. I wouldn't look at it again. I don't know why I can do that.
Yeah.
But I think it comes from the emotion the song gives me too, that I can just like take a, I don't want to call it digital.
Yes.
Some type of copy. And it just, yeah.
Because we always knew he's like that, and that's one thing about like your leadership and just and that, I don't know, core connection by music was the inspiration behind what like we could hear a song, know that we need to be at a certain level to perform this without the music, and know that you gonna know it, so we ain't got no excuse to not know it. Like we didn't, it wasn't gonna go out there and then maybe we no, I don't know this music, so we better know it. Period.
You ain't playing the right part.
And you knew everything. I'm like, the book is like 100 songs. Why do you know them all? Wait, seriously.
That was so weird. I thought, I think about that now. Like we was playing other. Well, let me not say that. I'm gonna get drunk. We was playing other parts. We was playing other sections part. Me, Maya, Tim, and Roger would play other parts in the band because we could play it. It would sound in the sound, but we'd be playing the same parts. It's like you couldn't tell, but I knew them. So good stuff.
That is so funny.
I missed that. That was so fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
But that is so true. Like when you in certain moods, you just gravitate towards certain music, certain genres of music. I like to sometimes listen when I'm cleaning up, and it's not every music, every form of music. It's certain kind of songs I want to hear, and it just puts me in this good space, and I'm just like, okay, zone out and get into it. So that's huge. And the music is powerful in that way. So I love that, like that we can have this conversation and talk about that. How's music personally affected your life?
Man, so if I would say effect, like when I would say effect, I think change, like it has given me more confidence. And that came from like being dropped to the bottom and brought back up because of really multiple times in my music career. I think I hit a bottom. I hit a bottom. I would say my first bottom was like a car accident 2 years after I graduated college. Got into a car accident. Somebody ran a red light, hit on the side of the car. I was in a passenger and broke my face on the opposite side.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And I couldn't open my mouth completely for 2 months. I couldn't play my horn for a year. And I had to start back at soprano to work back up to tenor because I couldn't hold armature. I had to eat like soups and soft. Well, I received soups for 2 months. I lost weight, and I could not play the horn for a year at all because I had to let it heal. I couldn't do no strong, nothing. I can't bring my heart away. Just so long you can't play.
Yeah.
I've been playing for years, so I guess that was depressing. I had like broke up with my girl around that time too, so that was depressing.
Oh man.
I was told I was depressed from other people that I didn't see it. So when I was able to start playing again, well, first it was like, are you gonna play again? That was the real question. It was like, are you gonna play again? Like, are you gonna waste your time? Or are you gonna have to keep playing? Are you gonna do this? Did you know how much time they were finishing? Are you gonna waste your time? Or are you gonna like, you do? And half of me was gonna do it, half of me wasn't. So I started 50-50. I didn't start 100 in because I'm starting on soprano and I don't want to play soprano. But if I wanted to play, I had to play something. So started with soprano. I was on soprano for like 7-8 months at least. And that's just playing, going back, playing a little week, coming back, playing, coming back. Wasn't no gigging. So I had to do other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I wasn't able to really do read because music had become a part of me at that point. Mm-hmm. But I'm still kind of 50-50 here. So eventually I moved to alto and I ended up playing alto. I hate alto. I just got to keep 100. Like, I love how other people make it sound. Yeah. I don't want to play it. Yeah. I want one. Right now, I can't have one. I will get to that shortly. Affecting how we expect. Mm-hmm. So, okay. When I get to the alto realm, all right, bet. This is starting to feel better. Still can't play tenor, though. It hurts like a mug. Like, this playing. Oh, my God. The alto, it just hurt. I just can't play for a week. And then my mental allergy started to get bad. Like, it was worse. Like, that was my senior year. I had mental allergy. It was close to homecoming, like years before homecoming, and it was terrible. And so that got worse too. So the horn I was playing started to hit my hands and my lips. So that was also like, are you gonna do this? Like, are you gonna do this? So I had to get a plastic saxophone, the vibrato sax. Mm-hmm. I was able to play for a while, but it's being plastic. You just play through it because it's just not made for it. It was nice, though. It was cute for it. Decent. Thankfully, I started to be able to play tenor. That was like 2000. So that started 2008, and that journey to get back to tenor was like maybe 2011, almost 2012. Yep, between 11 and 12, 4 stroke. And that's when I found out I couldn't play my tenor anymore. So that's just sitting in the case, and I can't even really touch it. But my saxophone technician, Rick, saved my life. But I guess I did want to do it. Nice. It's the 50-50 started to change because of things that happened, like, in my music career. Wow. There was a guy, Don, I didn't know my phone. I can't remember his last name. And I'm in the same issue. He never he couldn't be able to find a specific horn. So we got cool. And I would see him at the shop when I go in, because he's also looking for a horn for me to play while I'm playing this. Well, I can't play these horn forms. He's looking, but I would see him down here. And then, sorry, by the time my brain works, I'm like ADHD, and I'm like used to it now. Like, I'm not taking medicine for it. I'm just dealing with it. So right. Hey, so I got something to say about that. We and him developed a great relationship, and we got cool, and he just kind of expired, and he was a vet, and he get dog tags. He couldn't like wear his dog tags, so I'm like, we got the same thing, so that's cool. We play saxophone, and he eventually died. I was super sad. Well, eventually Rick called me one day. He was like, Matt, I got you a horn. I was like, what? He like, went to the sax, went to the shop. So he began, and he showed me this one out. J&S horn. Well, never heard about ever. Never. Who knows what a J&S horn is? I don't know. Wow. Yeah. Not no Yamaha, not no Con, not no Silver, not none of the stuff we used to seeing. It's a J&S. It's 30 because I've been playing. Mm-hmm. And he said, I think you can play this horn. I think you can play this horn, man. I'm like, hey. Okay. Then take it, try it, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even super expensive. It's like $800 because it's like a no name sax. But he's like, I'm pretty sure you can play it. I think it's brass. It's gold plated, and it hasn't like really chipped at all. And this is like 2012. I'm
So it's
thinking like
not
12, 13 JNS. Yep. It's modeled.
nice.
It's modeled after Yamaha, so it has a good. You know what I'm saying? And he saved my life. He saved my life. I've been playing this one ever since. I take it everywhere with me. I don't leave it in the car. It's never gonna get stolen because it's gonna always be with me. If I'm going to a store or something, it's coming to the store with me. Like when I'm flying, can you open up your closet, flight attendant? I know you can keep my heart up there. I'm not putting it under the plane.
Okay. I know. We see what they do in them
like
with
3-4
luggage.
times. Like, yo, this horn is going up in this closet up here.
Mm-hmm.
Or this horn is going
no carry on.
Not on the plane. And if I even have flight attendants because now they make those a little size where they can fit above me, so that's fine. They can fly overhead, that's fine. They're gonna ask me like, "You're not putting it on the plane," or like, "Hell no, no." You know, I was making sure,
right?
Because no, you did,
no.
So that was huge as far as like me, like you talking about open motion, you talking about like affecting my life, and now most requested saxophonist in the city right now.
Wow.
Never thought that to be a thing. Never. Last night, we were playing at Rhythm R&B downtown Hart Plaza.
Nice.
And like 313 band, probably the best to me. For me, is the best band in the city. They were like, man, we need to do stuff, y'all. Let's collaborate together. Let's do this now. Like our two styles go with city, and that's everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, it should be. So it had a huge effect on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's and then I tell people all the time I didn't start playing the horn for this like 7 years.
Wow.
And I didn't even in college. I didn't put the time into the horn. I just relied on that.
You're just talented.
I just relied on that. I can just look at this one time and memorize it and I just play it.
Yeah.
I just needed to play it.
Yeah.
But now I'm like singing. Now I'm singing.
Yeah, you're actually really good too. Yeah.
I'm getting there.
Wow. That's a testimony. That's a huge testimony.
Yeah, I got some stories, yo.
It's like music saved your life, but almost like kind of took your livelihood away in a way, because it's such a part of you, and losing that and the trauma behind that, and it's almost like the accident itself was one thing, but the impact of how it affected that part of you is just. I'm so glad that you're playing again. You have recovered. You're not that busy. You found that saxophone. I'm like super excited.
It was just meant. That's how that. See, I go off omens. I'm digging on omens. The Alchemist. That book had like completely ingrained and changed my life. I'll look at this.
Absolutely. That's a
yes, omens. Yep. It was a sign.
It's a testament to who you are too. Like you don't give up. You accept challenges. You kind of go after what you want. And so, congratulations on that and being where you are right now in music, because you're making it happen.
That's like amazing. Hope it turns out well. Wherever it turns, I can honestly say that if my music career interview tomorrow, I'll be happy. I'll be like, oh, cool, whatever. Yeah. Great. I can do mine now.
Oh my gosh. Right. I mean, that's why you said eggs in different baskets.
And you gotta have them, y'all.
You have multiple talents.
I think you're gonna be in a place of comfortability or only work one job. That world has set sail. In order to really live a life where you don't have to worry about your finances, you probably gotta have more than one job unless you are extremely talented. That's just what it is.
They have different kind of income that kind of works itself, right? Like I don't have to be actively there at every moment for that to happen.
Right. That's nice. Awesome. A low job world is crazy. You can find some other work crazy too. Don't at the same time you can find a job where you can sit on your bottom and make over $5,000.
I mean, it's all possible. Yep.
Yep.
Hearing your journey in music is amazing. There was just some things I just absolutely was not aware of. So I really appreciate you sharing that and your honesty behind that and some of your philosophies, because now I'm like, I got some research to do. But you also speak and believe a lot about investing in yourself. There is so much, I don't know, it's such a deep message behind that. And so, what does investing in yourself mean to you, particularly when you think about time?
So I think the ultimate investment in yourself is time. I mean, because time is the ultimate currency. That's what it is. It ain't no dollar. Because ultimately, you don't get that dollar unless you put time into the job you work. So time is our currency. So investing that currency into myself, I think, is the strongest thing because I can control the outcome more. Just trying to put myself in a place where I can control the outcome more and not putting my outcome in someone else's hands. That's what I like. When it was a couple of years ago as well, I always wanted to be in positions where I was kind of like overseer or leader. And it didn't derive from being drum major multiple times or nothing like that. It just came from me, I guess. Even the first job, I wanted to be an OBGYN. I wanted to deliver babies. You know, that's what I wanted to do. But as a doctor, they really don't answer me. Right? Musician, really don't answer anymore. So while business owner, same thing. I just really operate in that realm. Investing into myself, the time, I think that then life changing. It boosts your confidence. It boosts you like confidence. I think it's the number one thing that people lack. And it's fun. A lot of us are losing more and more because of this. Because we stay inside of this so much that when it's time to talk to somebody like this or even like face to face, it just
That's true.
Like,
yeah.
So the phone gives a false sense of so many things, and you can rap about that in the interview, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm here, you can come to interview all wrong now. Like, I know I know you. I hear people come to interview not even dressed like half of not even half of this, you know what I'm saying?
Really?
Whatever, but
like, where's the etiquette?
Etiquette, that's it. When you invest time into yourself, you know, you build up these attributes to like become a better you. And when you are a better you, that confidence, like, it can propel you to take room in your conversation. 90% of the time, you'll nail it because you're just confident. Like, unfortunately, well, you know what confidence, con man, confidence, con man. So, that documentary on that person on might be flexing that confidence man. He's just very confident. He could be as dumb as his doorknob next to me.
Yeah.
But as long as you're confident and so that's just a whole other thing, but just being confident. But when you invest your time into yourself to push the knowledge and the facts and the education, when you leave with that confidence, it's like unmatched.
Nice.
And then that's how you get into those doors. That's how you get that higher salary. You gotta have confidence yourself. You gotta ask for it. You know,
absolutely.
I went in and asked for that. And I can consider for this permit.
Yep. You said it. You sure did.
Confidence is, I think, you know, what really comes from investing time in yourself. When you get confidence, you can do so many things.
It's such a mind shift or mental exercise to understand how important investing in yourself is and how that does contribute to things like confidence and what really unlocks for you when you are growing that and nurturing that. And because a lot of us are not wealthy enough to not work, right? Like where we just, whether even if we are in a position where maybe it's not us out working, our significant other is, a lot of us understand the value of work in our lives and us being able to pay our bills, do things we want, whatever. When you're working, especially as you know, the non-business owners, when you're working for somebody else, you are investing in them essentially. Now, I do think that hopefully you're getting something out of it for yourself, but you are investing in them, their vision, their dream, their confidence. And so I love this message around like using time as a precious commodity to invest in yourself. Because even with you being able to say, okay, I gotta do what I gotta do to get my bills done, I just want you to know, they're not just like if you're making what you're making, you're still like accomplishing something huge for someone else. So make sure you're bringing something back to you, your legacy, your future. And for some people, it can look so many different ways. Actually, I'm not even gonna say nothing about that because I'm gonna ask you about that. What are some ways people can invest in themselves and start putting that time in?
So, I would say the number one thing is what we eat. I've changed my diet as of January this year. I'm a pescatarian now.
Nice.
I wouldn't eat a chicken or pork at all. I might eat a chicken a month, like a drumstick, a steak every 2 months to like balance out like carrot and stuff. But I take supplements to feel better. You eat cleaner, richer, feel better. Those heavier foods don't wear on you. And then literally the weight profile, I lost like almost 11 pounds first month. And I haven't exercised at all.
Hold on. What?
Oh, serious?
I'm over here taking notes.
And I talk about this a lot now. Because we're told and people talk about that the food is bad. It is. Especially if you're not growing this. If you're not raising this cattle.
Yes. Yep.
If you're not raising this chicken.
Yep.
That's the only way. That's the only way that I would probably eat meat consistently.
Yep.
And I'm raising this cow and I'm raising this chicken. I'm just gonna stay with pigs. I will keep them as my primary.
Because you would be surprised what's happening behind the scenes. My gosh, you are absolutely.
No, I'm straight on all that. So even though everything has microplastics in it and stuff like that, but I don't eat meat as much during the week. Like if I'm really craving, I'm gonna get some whitefish.
Yeah.
I might eat some shrimp. I don't eat a lot of lobster. I like lobster.
Yeah, but me too.
What we intake, I think, is the number one thing.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you just feel better. You feel lighter. That's where it's got to start. Yeah. And it's better for you. We got to be better on how we eat. We're not eating the right things. People just are not. And they should. And I know since then, my whole fitness. And I've never been able to fit like a fit.
Dang.
And I worked out like 4 times this year.
Yeah.
Which is terrible. It's terrible. Don't take that out of it. But it's just how you eat. You eat better. Your body's going to adjust to it. I drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
The second part, exercising is a part of that too. That's where you can blow off some steam. Blow off some steam is important. Mental steam, physical steam, stimulation. I like to bike. I've been riding. I can't do like high effective type job or something. I have bike now. And then reading. Just audio book. Reading. Try to do that once or twice a year. I'm just doing it because I know a lot of people don't like reading. It's just a thing and a thing. People just don't like to read. That's where everything is. Like I know most of the really stuff I had in my life is him reading. Definitely reading.
Yeah.
Like the whole sine wave philosophy. The ride for me is reading something.
Yeah.
So invest those things into yourself. I think that's a great start. What you eat, like keep yourself working out. And what your intake, really your mental intake, like read something. Don't always just phone stuff.
I really like that. It's like you're nurturing not only your body, but your mind. And that, I don't know what I expected you to say to that, but I don't think it was that. And I really appreciate that answer because it's so practical. It's so simple. Like when you think about like how you talk about what you're putting into your body and how you're treating yourself, it made me think about just some of the things that we, they become addicted to our bodies and literally, I am not, being facetious or trying to exaggerate. It shaves years off your life when you're eating those bad things. So,
Yes.
like sugars, high processed foods regularly.
All that. Yep. No, I
Yeah,
just went
these
grandma
you
turned
lose.
90 years old the other day. August 3rd, she
Wow.
turned 90. So that
Yeah.
means I can be 90 though. When I turn 90, I want to be moving around.
Yeah, exactly. I want to move around. And some of that stuff actually opens your mind up. It allows you to have a lot more mental clarity. I've been
Mm-hmm.
telling you this, if you're a person who struggle with some of the addictive foods like sugars or things like that, when you go off of it, you go have withdrawals because that's
Yep.
just what it is.
Yep. I have a
But
problem.
when you get on the other side of that, don't go back because your body, like you said, your body will adjust and you actually will reject it. You won't even like want that. Your body will be like, this doesn't taste real. This
Yeah,
doesn't
like
feel good.
pizza's
Yeah. It
really
craves
good
the
for
healthier
you.
stuff.
Pizza tastes great, but it's not really good for you. I've eliminated the amount of pizza. Didn't take the cheese. Like
Yeah.
it's something up with the processed cheese too. So I know they say pizza, it's one of the better.
Yeah. All that
Mm-hmm.
starch and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
sodium, and it's just a lot.
It's a lot.
Man, and I love even just the reading part because I love to travel and I have been exposed to that at a young age. But I feel like reading is a mental way of traveling. Like if you can't physically travel, but even if you are, reading allows you to enter different spaces, different ways of thinking, different outlooks on the world. Different perspectives, which is so important to growth, to setting new goals, to understanding yourself better, understanding others better, gaining understanding, all of those types of things. So that was a really, I did not expect that, but I love that answer for how you can invest in yourself in that way.
Yeah, yeah. That's how you
How
do
do
that.
you, okay, so sometimes people, I have my ideas on why, but sometimes people really struggle with giving themselves time. And so how do you deal with like guilt and anxiety around that?
As far as like making times like for myself basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still a struggle just because I have kids now, and then there's also a wife in the picture, and there's also endeavors, you know. So I have been actually more disciplined to use my calendar to
Mm.
put
Okay.
those things in there. Like again, like I work for myself, I need to kind of work for myself. I control myself, so I need to control myself the best way I can. I like navigate between 2-3 pounders right now
Yeah. Me
to
too.
balance the band and work and personal life. So,
Yeah.
and I made a mistake yesterday. So I'm not perfect, but I'm moving better towards being better about managing my life. And you can
Yeah.
manage, if you can set times where nothing else should be scheduled. I'm doing
Hmm.
that right now too, but just setting time where you're not going to do anything else. Just kind of let that be,
Hmm.
or even just setting time where I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and put a reminder on it.
Yep.
And it's going to eventually it'll start to bleed into your psyche. The more you see it on your calendar, and it's going to be hard at first. We gotta break habits. I'm breaking habits right now. I'm trying to get up earlier so I
Mm.
can do more. Because I think of these next 5 years, I'm going to be investing even more time into myself. So that's because I feel right now I'm not investing enough time. And I
Yeah.
know that's like crazy to hear, but like I don't feel I am. So I'm gonna be getting up earlier so I can do more things in the morning before the day starts.
Yeah.
Before my actual work day. Working, but my work day starts so I can do more.
Yeah.
And I think that's gonna help, and it only will help it. I'm a therapist. I recommend for everybody. Um
Nice.
yeah, the therapist they'll tell you what's wrong, like you may not need to be here. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Well, I said that, or this work on this thing. A lot of people don't think it. I'm one of those people. I don't think I need it, but it's good.
Yeah.
I can see where it's good from now. I already see something. Just being aware. I got off. Sorry.
That is,
I got off.
no, I love that. Like the time you invest in yourself,
Yeah.
the peace you're allowed to, you kind of create for yourself, it actually helps you perform better, be more present, all of those things. I was in a recent podcast where someone was talking about that, like how you saying you schedule the time, and they were talking about that, you know, we wear a lot of hats. Like you got kids, you got a spouse, you know, you work, you got your own projects and ventures you're into, and all of those things need time. And then, you know, somewhere along the line, we need time too,
Yeah.
right? And so the way they explained it, what you say?
I'm away from everyone.
Yes, away from everybody.
Yeah.
And the way they explained it, I really like, because sometimes I don't know, sometimes I feel like there's been a couple of ways we've been taught how to look at our value and how we are taught to look at time. And often in previous decades and years, self-care, time for yourself is not, you know, a priority. It's always kind of like this thing where it's an extra thing, because your value is not on you. Your value is what you're doing for someone else and you know, in other projects. But I think now we're shifting that and understanding that there is such a value in the time we put in ourselves. And in that conversation I had recently, the way they explained it was that it's not that it's a priority that's more important than another one. It's just how you schedule the time, how you schedule those priorities. And so when I'm wanting to be in mom mode, right, then the time that I am in that space, that's all I'm doing. I am not trying to be, you know, an entrepreneur in that space. I'm not trying to be a girlfriend hanging out and kicking it in that space. Like, I'm just doing that. And when I take that hat off and I move to something else, I'm really present in that space. And so not necessarily saying I can't be all of these things, because you are all of these things, but I am not trying to be all of these things at the same time. That is stressful. And that's also, to me, a message that came from the previous generations, was just like, you just got to do what you got to do, and you just got to always keep all of these balls in the air and just figure it out. And it's just like that's, I mean, just because I'm capable of doing it don't mean I should. Oh, and I wanted to mention this because you said, you know, Matt Jones said, he's like, you know, I'm a little ADHD at times, right? I'm going to say this as the therapist, because I know this to be true. So many very successful people, very successful, highly successful, very talented people are navigating the world with conditions like ADHD. If you're like, you know I got a little bit of that, I'm not necessarily on medicine, that may be a superpower for you, okay?
And I've been hearing, my wife had this ADHD revelation over the last 2 years, and she was like, "You definitely have it." I'm like, "You can't be diagnosed when you're not no doctor still." You know what I'm saying? I had a problem with that. That was like making me mad. Like, we were getting to it, but like after she was like programming me to like sending me things and like, yo, it's like not bad. It's just, it is what it is. So I'm like, yo,
Exactly.
I see it in myself. I see how I act. I see how like on stage, I have a bad habit sometimes, like a not focusing.
But that's why you're able to move through so many things so like seamlessly, because it's not hard for you. It's like, it's actually like how your brain is wired. You're like, I don't actually sit in one organized space too long. I'm kind of like a little bit of everywhere, and I'm only gonna be here for so long before I'm over there. And you know, it's a talent. So there's some, I guess it's the gift and the curse there. But I definitely say it's a gift, and when you figure out how to understand yourself and use it, it's an advantage, because everybody cannot navigate the world that way.
Yeah, I agree.
What advice do you have for someone who is starting to invest time in themselves, who's just kind of trying to figure out how to find that balance, who's just like realizing that, man, I don't want to lose or look back at my life and, you know, feel like I didn't do enough?
It might sound bad, but I think you can be selfish temporarily. That's something that I am coming out of. I'm coming out of my selfish stage, because I've been selfless my whole life. My whole life I've been selfless, and I was selfish for like the last like 5 years, for sure. I was like, you know, I took some L's in different ways because of it. Overall, I still was the right move. I need to stop saying yes to everybody else. I started only saying yes to me. And think, well, sometimes I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. Like, no. Like, learn how to say no. There's so much power in saying no. Oh my God. Peace of mind. just say no. Like your friends will come out. I don't really feel like it. I'm not coming. Like, or and you wanna perform at this? I'm gonna ask them where to stand first. But sometimes no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So it allows you to have that time. You could say no, and
Mm-hmm.
it's necessary.
Yeah.
You have to. You gotta say no. Gotta say no. Allow yourself to have time to invest in yourself and being selfish. And then you have a significant other. I know that's why I communicate that like, hey, I need to concentrate on myself sometime, and it may seem like I am being selfish right now.
Yes.
I think I need to, so for my confidence, for my healing, for my growth, I'm not going to just completely subtract you out or anything like that. No, it's just
right.
I want to develop myself more in these areas, so I can spend some more time.
Okay, I love that. I mean, I don't think there is any other way to say it. I think that I don't know how sometimes people like receive the idea that like I have to say yes to me, which means that I actually have to say no to other things. Like that's the sacrifice, but the outcome, the reward on that is so much more rich. It's so much more. I don't. It's there is value in giving yourself quiet time. There is value in treating yourself nice, doing nice things for yourself. If your only way of being nice is just to other people, I encourage you to try to do something nice for yourself and see what it does for you, because I don't know, like you get to different spaces to be able to do more, to be able to do things differently, to be able to level up when you pour that into yourself first. So I love that. I love that. Just I gotta say no and be selfish and it's not like again that whole other piece of it's not that the other things are not important or me doing things for other people don't matter. That is just not the priority at this moment. We don't have all the balls up in the air. Let's stop that thinking. Let's bring it down so we can be very present and very attentive to what we want to focus on at that moment. And we have to be in that priority list. If we're not in that priority list, we're draining ourselves out, we're burning ourselves out, and we're giving people small percentages of what we have left instead of the potential of like, things get a lot more of us if we could just, say, hey, let me go recharge, let me go, just focus on me for a little bit.
And that's what I did with the horn. Over the last, like I said, I just really playing for real, like last 6 to 7 years, because I invested in like sitting with specific people to learn, like, because I wanted to change my sound. Like I had already started working on how I sound, like my actual voice, like my timbre, like how my tone is, and I think that's what is my like strong point now is how I sound. I think that's why people like me, or
you do, you have a good sound.
So fat right now, like I worked for years, and now this is where we at. So I got ice these like once a week. I'm gonna start doing that. I gotta ice my hands.
I just like when I'm at this part of the podcast and we get to part of the conversation when people talk about the work they put into the craft that they have, because sometimes in the media side of things, social media, public, it just you see the talent, you see the greatness, and I like when we can have these real just honest conversations and say, hey, there's a lot of work that goes into that. This was intentional. I have wanted to improve this. So people understand that this is not magic. Like what you said is very true in terms of like you have a natural talent for music. You have been doing this for so many years. But even when I read Will Smith's book, which was amazing, he talked about, just his ability to entertain was not an issue. That's why going into acting was natural for him. But the craft that he learned about how to be a good actor with James Avery at the time, who played Uncle Phil on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he said you can't just use your talent to to become a great actor. Like, you're going to have to put the work in and work at your craft. So the talent is only going to get you to a certain point, but that work, right, is going, and mixed with that talent is going to be able to allow you to reach heights that you don't even know are possible for you. And so I just like that message for people to understand that, like, don't hate on people who are doing it and having all of these great things happening for them, because trust me, there's work behind there, and they've been doing this for years.
Somebody just picking up a little instrument or picking up, well, no, it's hours.
Yes, absolutely.
I definitely put my 1,000 hours in.
Matt, can you tell the people, huh?
Because I definitely put my 1,000 hours in, and I need another 1,000 in.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. There's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. That's the other message. There's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. There are times where people get breaks and they have, like, these opportunities that allow them to kind of hit something that is really awesome for them, but there is never a shortcut. So don't lean on the break. Just do the work.
One of my friends, we was on a Facebook post, and I was talking about how, sorry, the Andre 3000 thing, and I just wanted to pick up a flute and go on the floor and play, like, how that was disrespectful to musicians. Like, you up here playing notes, and you don't know a scale, and you sound like a cat trying to tame a goat, and, like, that's disrespectful to me. And I love Andre 3000 to death, but bro,
that's such a talented person.
Like I said, he could have hired the best flute trainer on the planet. He chose to just pick up that mother and sound like a. I'm sorry.
It don't sound good. I didn't hear it, so you're like, I don't know.
Just for entertainment purposes, and people make videos of it. Like, you got us out here listening.
Like,
and somebody got.
I hear what you're saying, because it's such a craft.
Like, he was like, so, like, you don't appreciate that? Like, yo, that I don't have the ability to have shortcuts. I can't go stand on the stage with my saxophone and just go like this and it be sounding good. I don't have that. So no, there's no shortcuts for me. Like, there's some keyboards I can transpose and put your keyboard in different keys. No, I have to know all my keys. I can't just hit a button like, oh, now you're in C. Now you're in A flat. No, it don't happen.
Right, we don't have that in our world.
No. So, and I applied it to my whole life. There's no shortcut. I had to work for this. And we all should have that.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that. Like, some people have such a big platform, and so when you see them and then you just like, oh, they didn't study this, they didn't do this, it like creates this false narrative that, oh, it's an easy thing, nobody has to do the work. And it's like, no, there are people out here that is grinding constantly, just putting in just tons of time, making a lot of sacrifices to make this come to light. No, it doesn't work like that. And you hear the difference. So I don't even have to speak on it, because when you hear it, because you like it clearly, right? I can see when the work is happening at.
Yeah.
Okay, so Matt, can you tell people how they can get in touch with you, how they can find you, see what's going on? Because you're on top of everything. I feel like you just have pop up in different places, and then it's just like,
yeah, I thought I was on wine bottle rack here.
You got the wine rack? Yep.
But I don't have any close to me, so I'm not gonna betray the podcast too much. But
that mean the wine is good, so it's not there because we actually drinking it.
So you can find me on Instagram, Gold Thumb 313 Gold Thumb. You can also find me on Facebook at that, on TikTok, Gold Thumb 313. Hawaiian brand is Drew Ryan Wines, DREWRYAN Wines. You can Google it now. We got some things out there. So it's all one word on Instagram. Same thing on Facebook. Things that Drake's going to Clouds. The Clouds is spelled with a K. KLOUDS. The Clouds band. Drake's
Very good band.
YSKONIE. Instagram, Facebook, Drake's going Clouds band. Financial advisor. Northwestern Mutual. You can just inbox me on those. I'm working on my website. It's a long site. It's not like that. I work on a Facebook page for that, an Instagram page for that too. I'm on the phone my financial literacy and education through there. If anyone needs any financial advice.
Okay.
But yeah, so you can message me, Matt Jones, Gold Ryan big things coming. Wine brands. I'm working on wine brands for celebrities right now.
Cool.
With us, we're trying to get a line too. We are first generation winemakers. Other black winemaker in the state, and it's probably less than 20 total in the world that process the grapes in before.
Did not know that. Wow. Thank you so much for joining us, for sharing so much wisdom, sharing some of your just personal journey and things that you've overcome. People who are listening, I hope that you got a lot out of this episode. I surely did. Make sure you are subscribed. You definitely share your feedback. Do me a favor and share your feedback, because sometimes people will send me an inbox and then I'm like, oh, you did listen to that. But hey, we on YouTube, so share your feedback. Share the video. Don't hold the violence. Don't, this is for the world. It's free. It's accessible. And so, yes. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for having me. You guys have a good one.